There is now speculation of the Arizona Cardinals going after one Chris Olave. Because one of the things that one of the things that Cardinals fans have been in desperate need of or feel like the Cardinals could use is a deep threat. And for me, my thought process has always been, you have Marvin Harrison Jr. Marv is good enough to go take the top off downfield on his own. But people don't want to believe that. They want to just continue stacking this offense. But here's a few reasons why Chris Olave would be a disaster. Chris Olave, just so we're clear, I wouldn't give up any more than a day 3 pick for Chris Olave. With the disclaimer of if the Cardinals can get him for a fifth, with a disclaimer if the Cardinals can get him for a 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th round pick, I don't want Chris Olave here. It would be malpractice to send a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round pick to the Saints for Chris Olave. And here's a couple of reasons why. As most of you know, or at least some of you know, Chris Olave is on his 4th concussion in 4 straight years. Dating back to his time at Ohio State to now, he's had brutal concussion after brutal concussion. The name brand is great, but at this point, I'm not so sure about his longevity in the NFL. I would not tell the guy what to do with his own career that he's worked extremely hard for. But if I was Chris Olave, I would like to think I would hang it up. You think about Tua Tagovailoa and his concussions. And then you think, oh, Chris Olave, hold my beer. I don't know how he doesn't get the same coverage that Tua Tagovailoa gets, but his concussions have become an actual concern for this team moving forward. If he gets one more, he might be knocked out of the league. So as a player, yeah, he's awesome. I'd give up a 2nd or 3rd round pick for him. I would give him a contract extension, sure, but there's extenuating circumstances in this. One, he's in his 4th season, which means after this year, he's likely going to demand a contract extension. And with his concussions history, do you really feel confident giving him that contract? That's why the only reason if you're getting Chris Olave, it's for a day 3 pick, and you're more than okay with him walking out on you in 2 years because of the injury concerns. This isn't a torn ACL at 23 where you're like, he'll come back. He's young. Great. There's great rehab. He'll figure it out. These are concussions. He could walk away from the league at any moment, and you're stuck with some of the tax bill and also some of the just injury concerns with him. And so Derek Carr stepping away from the game the other day led to this big idea that teams are calling on Chris Olave. I'm not exactly how sure that is. And people kind of instantly put the Cardinals in that. Well, Chris Olave, Ohio State. The Cardinals love these Ohio State players. We saw what they did in the draft. Marvin Harrison Jr. last year, Ohio State. Justin Fry, offensive line coach, former Ohio State offensive line coach. And so people are putting these ideas together that maybe Chris Olave would work here. And I'm here to tell you, that would be a disaster. He didn't finish out the year last year. He obviously had injury concerns. Chris Olave, while I go ahead and type this into the old Google, I saw this yesterday when I was doing some prep for the show. Chris Olave, 32 receptions, 400 yards, 1 touchdown, and he played 8 games. He's obviously only missed 1 game prior to that, but the concussion history is real. He gets 1 more, it could effectively be done. You're not giving up a day 1 or a day 2 pick for that guy. You're willing to give a lottery ticket, a day 3 guy, a round 4, 5, 6, 7th round pick. He's perfect for he's absolutely perfect for what the Cardinals need. I'm not denying that. He'd be great taking the top off the defense. He'd give Kyler Murray another weapon. But here's also another thing, guys. When we talk about the wide receiver position and the fact that the Cardinals just need this guy to take the top off the defense. One, you either believe in Marvin Harrison Jr. or you don't. I believe he can do that. Or 2, Guys, when did the Cardinals throw the ball deep downfield last year? I know how desperately you want to be this throw the ball downfield offense, just air raid offense at times. That's not happening with Drew Petzing. Now, could Petzing incorporate some deep shots down the field, at least a little bit more than last year? Yes. But he's not changing his entire offensive identity to fit what you want. This is largely going to be a predicated off the run, play action, and then in very rare instances, throw the ball deep downfield 25 yards. Outside of that, it's just not what this Cardinals team is going to do. And then moving on to, well, what could the Cardinals get then? What could actually help them? Well, if you trade for Chris Olave, you are then hiring expectations, making expectations even higher for this team offensively, because you expect them to throw the ball deep downfield. If you go and get Chris Olave, you're changing your offensive identity. You're going from a ground and pound running team to a throw the ball deep downfield team. Vertical style offense. You can't do that with Chris Olave. You can't put all your chips in the basket on a guy who's had 4 concussions. 1 each year, dating all the way back to his time at Ohio State. And then, guys, there's this other key component to this. You've seen what Monty Ossenfort does. If you've been a fan of the Cardinals for a long time, I don't expect you to put up really just blatantly wrong or bad takes for this team. You can say, well, Chris Olave would make this team more dynamic. Sure, that's potentially a real thing, but you've seen this team. Monty Ossenfort is not going after injury-prone players with a bad medical history. He's not doing that. He's not signing veteran wide receivers, which is why a couple weeks ago when I mentioned, wow, Keenan Allen could actually work out for this team, I also put it with the caveat of, it's probably not going to happen though, because it's not a Monty Ossenfort guy. This team wants guys who stay healthy, are on the field, and love nothing but football. And of course, at a younger age. They're not ready to go get that veteran guy. So when you're talking about players that the Cardinals could get to help take the top off the defense, but not changing expectations for your offense, and kind of similar to that Zay Jones signing, I think it's Gabe Davis. It's not the sexy name. It's not the name that if you're a Cardinals fan, you're going to freak out about. It's definitely not Chris Olave. He is what he is. He's a deep threat guy with sure hands who has questionable route running at times, but oftentimes can get hot from the field and be able to take this offense to that next level without changing their identity. You go and get Chris Olave, you're changing your identity from a ground and pound team to a let's air it out, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave offense. You don't want to do that at this point. Go get Gabe Davis. It costs you nothing in a draft pick. He's younger. He can take the top off the defense, and you're not predicated on getting him touches. It's very similar to Zay Jones, where you're like, oh, that's a really good signing. Sure hands wide receiver, can take the top off the defense, at times a questionable route runner. You question if he's all the way engaged at times, but he doesn't cost you anything. You can get him on a 1-year deal, and it's what this offense actually needs. When you talk about Chris Olave, I'm not sure that that's something you were ready for. Gabe Davis helps elevate the floor of this team, gives Kyler Murray another weapon, and if Marvin Harrison Jr. or Trey McBride goes down for a game or two, you can elevate him in the depth chart, and you could be fine temporarily for a game or two. Chris Olave sure helps if Marvin Harrison Jr. goes out, and you're still totally fine with weapons. But guys, I just can't get the concussions out of my head. So, if you had to tell me who I'm picking, if Chris Olave is going to cost me a first, second, or third round pick, guys, I'm sorry, I'm just out. Combine it with the fact that he's going to need an extension soon, and with his injury history, he's going to want that extension sooner rather than later. He's not going to play on his rookie. He's not going to play on the last year of his rookie deal. Or you can go get Gabe Davis. low chance of busting. Even if he does, it doesn't affect your offense. He's not going to cost you anything outside of a 1-year deal. He helps elevate this offense. He gives you someone who can clearly take the top off the defense. That is what the Cardinals need to do. They are not made for these splashy signings yet. There is only one guy that you can put your chips in the middle and go get that player. It ain't Chris Olave. It's someone else down the line. If the Cardinals are 6-3 or whatever, if the Cardinals are 6-4 or 6-3 or 7-3 at the trade deadline or 7 and whatever at the trade deadline. If the Cardinals have a good record, 7-2 or 7-1 or 6-8, or 6-2 at the deadline, they're going to go get someone to help put this team with a chance to win the Super Bowl or to make a deep playoff run. They're going to do that. But they're not doing that now. It's just not the right move. Let's see where they're at the trade deadline. Chris Olave's fun, fits the mold, but concussions-wise, with contract obligations looming for him, it's just not the best thing for this team for now.